Hey guys, welcome back. I'm up on a ride on the Tellico Adventure Trail just off the Citico Creek area, and man, it is beautiful today. And I want to take a minute just to talk about 5 upgrades. I would say the top 5 upgrades for protection and performance for the Tenere 700. Last video I did was more about the top 5 upgrades for someone that just bought this bike for safety and convenience and comfort. You know, this one's really more about protection and performance, I would say, and we'll jump right into it. So the first thing I would recommend for an upgrade in protection would be the skid plate. I think anybody that's buying this bike's probably going to be going off-road. The stock skid plate is, I mean, it's a skid plate, but I think everyone would agree it's really thin. You hit that one time real good, and it's, you know, you're going to dent it. The critical part is that the oil filter is right behind that skid plate, so you definitely want something that's strong and it's gonna hold up. In this particular case, I went with the SW Motec, and the reason I did that is because this one at the time was one that went up really high, and it's a really thick aluminum. You can see it has gone up to the point where it covers, you know, most of the header pipes and a good portion of, you know, most of the engine is blocked as well. And it's really thick aluminum. I also purchased the center stand from SW Motec, so I knew that this skid plate would work with that. There's some other companies that make really good skid plates. I know Camel ADV makes one called a gut guard, and I do like some of those that do come down and protect the linkage on the bottom. The SW Motec does not do that, but you know, I don't know how important that is, because I've had skid plates on all my dirt bikes before, and never once had I wished I had something that covered the linkage. So I just don't know how, you know, how critical that is. I've never needed it. So this one fit the bill, works really well, and I've been really happy with it. The second upgrade I would say is the crash bars. Now these are Adventure Spec crash bars. I went this route because mostly at the time, which has probably been over a year ago, that I've had these. They were one of the only ones that was out of aluminum. I don't know that these really give the best protection. Those Outback Motortech are pretty stout, and I like the way they connect to the frame points. But you know, the Adventure Spec has worked well. I've only actually dropped it over one time, and it wasn't at any kind of speed, and it was completely operator error. And it held up. You can't even tell that that I dropped the bike. But powder coating's really good. You know, I think strength wise it's adequate. So we'll see how it holds up long term, but I've been pretty happy with it so far. The third upgrade, I have to say, would be more for performance, and that is the foot pegs. So the stock foot pegs, they're not terrible. I do like that the stock foot pegs have a rubber insert, and those make it a little more comfortable, but the width of those stock foot pegs are, I mean, they're not very good at all. And this particular bike, like any other adventure bike, you do not want to be sitting down on this bike while you're riding off-road, or on gravel, or on anything loose, dirt. These bikes are made to stand. They have such a high center of gravity that if you're setting down on this bike while it's bouncing around, it's just flat out dangerous. And so you need a good base for your feet to rest on while you're standing. And these pegs in particular are the T7 rally pegs. And, you know, I've been really happy with these pegs. They have a really, really wide stance. They're almost too wide, to be honest. They're really almost too wide. I've actually drug them in the corners of turns before, and but I would say for comfort-wise, they've been amazing, and they've made me a better rider just because I don't worry about my feet coming off and all that. Now, I know Camel ADV makes a good aluminum set, or I don't know if they make it, but I know they sell it. And I think that would be a good route to go. Just as long as you have something that's wider than the stock pegs, I think would be good. So the fourth upgrade I would have to say would be a steering damper. Now, this particular setup that I chose is the triple clamp moto damper kit, and really the two reasons I went with it. One is I like the Scott's damper that it comes with. I mean, I just think Scott's dampers are the best in the business. The other reason is this bracket right here that goes around the steering stem. It is bolted together from both sides, so you don't have to take this whole thing apart, this triple clamp off the top. You don't have to take all that off to get that bracket on. And to me, that's a killer job. And I did this whole thing in probably 30 to 45 minutes. And the reason I think the damper is so important is, and I've had several of them on my dirt bikes, and that's really more for rocks and roots. And, you know, when you're running at speed and you hit those things, you need something to keep the handlebars from, you know, flopping on you. But I didn't really think about it on an adventure bike until the first ride after I got this bike. I went into a few corners that were loose, and it scared me because the steering would just completely go sideways in those corners where it was just loose. So I thought it was, you know, packed sand. Actually, it was really, really wet, gooey dirt underneath the sand. And when I hit it, it went sideways. Almost lost it a couple times, and I just told myself, look, you're gonna have to fix that. Bought this damper kit, and now when I go into turns that are like that, the steering stays straight. And I mean, it turns a little, but it doesn't go to full lock, which is dangerous, because if it actually grabs, there's one or two things that's going to happen. One, you're either going to dig it and high side it, or two, it's going to then just continue to slide out from under you. And either way, it results in a down situation that you really want to avoid. So I highly recommend the steering dampers. This one, for the money, I don't know what they cost now, but I think for the money, that triple clamp moto kit is the way to go. The last upgrade, the fifth upgrade, I think that would be good for performance, would be the one finger clutch. I bought this from Camel ADV. They make some really cool stuff. It's an easy install. I think you'll notice that the clutch is, it's cable, and so it's pretty tight. And after you're riding it for a while, your hands can start to get a little cramped up. Put this on. You can do it with one finger. It just makes it just keeps your hands from getting too tight and just gives you a lot more confidence when you're riding. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw a 6-1 in just as something that I have not actually done on this particular bike, but I think that it would be well worth it is for performance, and that's the tires. The Scorpion rallies are not bad. I read a lot on the forums where people just complain about them, how they're terrible. They're not terrible. I've got a few thousand miles on this bike, and do I have a set of Bridgestone Battle Axe AX41s in the garage ready to go? Absolutely. But have I felt the need to put them on because these Pirelli were so bad? No, they're not bad. The rear tire is actually really good. I've been really happy with it. The front tire, that's the one that's like, you got these big blocks. It doesn't have really good lugs on the side. So when you hit something that's got some mud that cakes up just a little bit, they're going to slide. And I think that's the biggest fault of these tires is just the front tire is not as great. But for the road, I think the road for a 70/30 tire, I think it's an amazing setup. I think Yamaha got it right for this bike. It just, for the riding that I do, I need a little more of a knobby, and that AX41 is going to fit the bill. It worked really good on my 1190 Adventure R. I was really happy with that, so I'm going back with it. So that's it, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section. Let me know what you think. I mean, it's just my opinions, but what I'm trying to do is help people out, help make decisions, and to give them a better experience on this Tenere. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.